What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode number 49 today of the My Player Career Mode. And we have an absolute cracker of an opening game for you all to enjoy. So sit back, relax, get yourself your favourite drink and snack and come back and get ready to watch Ben in action. If you missed the last episode, basically, guys, to give you guys a rundown of what happened, Spurs played against Real Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League. Of course, Ben, formerly of Spurs, now at Real Madrid. The game ended 0-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, so we kickstart today's episode off with the game at Wembley. It's the return leg, and whoever wins this one will be advancing through to the semi-finals. But remember, guys, away goals count towards Real Madrid this afternoon. Nothing for Spurs. They have to win the game. A draw will not be enough unless, of course, it's a 0-0 draw and it takes it to extra time. But if Real Madrid score, Spurs have to win the game because Real Madrid, if it ends a draw, will go through on the away goal ruling. So, as I said, it's kind of an important game here for both sides. Spurs back in the competition after Ben won the league with Spurs last year in the Premier League. And now, of course, at Real Madrid, he has a chance to get through to a Champions League semi-final. That's the team that Spurs have got. Of course, Eriksen isn't a bad replacement for Ben, is he? I mean, it's a strong Spurs team. I saw Redmond in there, and I thought, you know what? In that Spurs lineup, he has the chance to shine. But from Real Madrid's perspective, their team is just off the charts. That is it on the screen for you all. So, as we got the game underway, it took 30 minutes for the first chance to present itself. And luckily for Madrid, it went their way. Ben on the ball, finding Llorente in the middle of the box here. Not quite the man you would want on the receiving end of that pass, though, because as you saw from his strike, he's not really the greatest in those areas. He did score one not so long ago in a previous episode where it was quite important for Real Madrid, but that occasion, he just couldn't keep his head and he couldn't keep it down. As we move into the second half, Spurs played a lot more conservatively this leg than they did in the first because they had to remember, try to not concede because an away goal would mean they have to score twice. And Aguero really should have opened up the scoring in the second half there. A little bit of luck for him to get through, but he should score on that end of that one. So slightly disappointed with the finish. But 60 minutes in, Ben on the ball in a great area for Spurs. When he's in this kind of area, you have to close him down because otherwise this is what happens. Ben again, he's got Wanyama trying to track his run. He turns the midfielder, gets past him as well, runs into the area, dinks a lovely cross straight through the middle of that Spurs defence, and eventually Marcus Rashford, on the second time of asking, prods the ball home to make the score 1-0. So, I mean, Spurs, they really did not know their game plan, and that's something that you've got to know going into this game. Remember, for Real Madrid, all they had to do was score, and then they would have the away goal advantage. But for Spurs, they played far too conservatively. They were always looking to try and defend here and maybe take this to extra time. And when you're playing like that, it just does not work. And Ben opened up the defence, found a great pass across. Rashford initially hitting the post, but he got the ball back, and he slotted home to make the score 1-0. So now Spurs, they have to come out and attack for the remaining 25 minutes or so. Otherwise, they'll be saying adios to the Champions League. And then 5 minutes from time, it really showed that Spurs did lack that little bit. I wouldn't call it quality, maybe just experience in this sort of position, being in the semi or the quarterfinal, of the Champions League and on the verge of the semi-finals. They just couldn't keep their composure because Kovacic goes through and makes the score 2-0 3 minutes from time, basically sinking the London club and effectively knocking them out of the competition. Spurs would need to score 3 goals now to take the game away from Real Madrid, and it's just not possible with 3 minutes to go. So that is pretty much going to be Madrid through to the next round and Spurs out of the competition. So commiserations to them, of course, Ben's former club, but at the end of the day, he had a job to do and he wants to win as much as he possibly can do in this series. So if he has to knock out a former club in doing so, then so be it. Spurs did create one opportunity before the end of this game, though. Nzonzi on the right-hand side, which is a good cross in towards Sanchez, who turns his volley goalwards, but it was straight at the Real Madrid goalkeeper, and that pretty much summed up Spurs' afternoon. So, a 2-0 win for Madrid sends them through to the semi-finals of the Champions League, where they will meet a future opponent, which you'll find out later on in today's episode. And let's say this. The semi-finals, I think, in terms of the teams left in it, if Real Madrid knock out the team they've managed to achieve in the semis, I think they've got a really good chance of advancing and winning the final itself. Because I don't believe that the teams that are left in it are that much stronger, or even stronger left anyway, than what Real Madrid are with this side. So, I mean, for Ben, surely he's thinking to himself, maybe I have a chance here at possibly grabbing myself a Champions League winners medal if Real Madrid can hold their nerve. So in terms of that one, though, that is how we're going to end the Champions League games off for today's episode. And you will see that team, as I said, later on, you can see who Real Madrid did in fact pull. But now, as I'm showing you, the top scorers in La Liga, Ben is sat second on 16, one behind the top scorer at the moment, but he's miles ahead in the top assist maker, so he's going to get the top assist for the league. He just also has been chasing the golden boot as well. And in terms of this one, it's a top of the table clash against Bilbao, but of course they are a little bit further behind. I think they're about 11 points off of Real Madrid at this stage, and with 2 games, I think Real Madrid need to win the next 2 to secure the league title. So we could have it wrapped up in today's episode, depending on results here. So if Real Madrid win the next 2 games in the episode, the title is theirs. That's all they have to do in order to secure it. But of course, if Bilbao want any chance of winning the league, they have to win this game here against Madrid. And Madrid have only conceded 6 goals in 32 league appearances this season, which is sensational. Absolutely sensational. So it doesn't look as if it's going to be an easy afternoon for Bilbao, put it that way, as Zidane's men get out on the pitch and look to increase their already very good points tally at the top of the table. The side from Bilbao's not terrible. It's a decent team, but it should be one that Real Madrid should be able to deal with comfortably here in this one at Santiago Bernabeu. And 18 minutes in, Ben on the ball quite deep, actually. We're not used to seeing Ben in these sort of areas. Eventually, plays a nice ball into his team. I think it was Llorente, who feeds Aubameyang, and he opens up the scoring inside 20 minutes. Now remember, with 6 games to go, this is of course the 33rd league game, I think, of the season we've got now against Bilbao here. Ben needs to try and get on the score sheet for a few of these games. If he wants to win the Golden Boot, he has to try and get on the score sheet in at least, I would say, one of the 2 games left to come in today's episode. Because if he doesn't, and the man at the top of the table opens up the gap a little bit, Ben's going to struggle, I think, to find the form he needs in order to put the ball in the back of the net. So 34 minutes in, when he nestled away from the defender there and had a strike, I was a little bit disappointed with the way he finished it off, because I felt he should have done better with a shot himself. And as we move into the last few minutes of the game now, it's a good move from Ben. He finds a pass to his teammate. Eventually, he gets it back. Aubameyang in the middle of the park here, you can see, does ever so well to find Casemiro. Casemiro to Salvio. Salvio back to Casemiro. Finds his way to Ben. And his shooting boots are lacking, because 9 times out of 10, if he wasn't chasing the title and didn't have the pressure of trying to find a goal, he would have buried that there and it would have been 2-0. But with around about 5 minutes to go, it was Bilbao pushing everybody up, trying to find an equaliser, and it eventually led to them conceding a second goal of the day. Ben on the left-hand side could have quite easily been selfish and tried to shoot, of course, chasing the golden boot. He probably should have tried to beat the goalkeeper, but he chose to wrap up the points anyway and decided he would set up Salvio for a guaranteed second, although admittedly, I thought the keeper might have saved that one. It was very, very close, and he couldn't quite push it over the top of the crossbar. But 5 minutes to go, as you saw, Ben having the chance to maybe get his goal, but he chose instead to wrap up the points and potentially the title as well. So good performance from Real Madrid when it counted, when it mattered, and they stepped up to the plate and I guess convincingly won the game, I want to say, because they had to make sure that they were on form today, and they got the 2-0 win, kept the clean sheet, again, didn't concede, picked up 3 points, and they are 1 game away now from securing the La Liga title. But guys, what I want you guys to do today, I'm going to put a little poll at the top right of this screen, because I want to get your guys' feedback. I want to see what you guys are thinking. So, this is not set in stone. Whatever wins this vote or whatever the little poll is, I'm not going to be acting upon this. I just want to get your guys' views and thoughts. I want to get like a consensus of what people are thinking. So at the top right, there will be a place for you to vote. It'll be a little eye on the top right of this video. And it's basically just asking you guys, should Ben remain a Real Madrid player next season? Or should he potentially go? So it's not set in motion, as I said. Nothing is set in stone. Whatever you guys vote for, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to, move Ben on or keep him at Real Madrid. I just want to see what you guys are kind of thinking ahead of the transfer window in the summer, so then that way I can get a kind of like view from what you guys think. So cast your vote up there. Of course, if you choose not to vote on this one, it doesn't really matter that massively, because of course I'm not going to be making a decision based on this, but it would be helpful if you guys could press the I button and give me like a little kind of, I guess, notice on what you guys are thinking. But if you didn't see it there either, Real Madrid have in fact got Manchester United in the next round of the semi-finals of the Champions League. I think the other game actually is Sevilla against Chelsea. So 2 English teams against 2 Spanish teams, I guess you can say. There's a chance for an all-English final, a chance for an all-Spanish final, or a chance for a Spanish versus English final, I guess. So it is kind of important as to Real Madrid getting through that one there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I would prefer for Ben to take on Sevilla in the final of the Champions League. But we'll see, depending on what happens. But this was a game, guys, where Real Madrid can wrap up the title. This one here against Eibar, but they didn't start off very good. And whether or not that was nerves or something like that, I don't know. But they gave away some quite, I would say, harsh chances. You know, you can't give chances like this away to you know, better teams, the likes of maybe Atletico Madrid, maybe Chelsea, maybe Manchester United, and get away with it. So no disrespect to Eibar, but they probably should have opened up the scoring there with those 3 opportunities. But luckily for Madrid, they got their nerves back. Ben in the second half picking up a penalty here. It was a very, very, I would say, harsh penalty to give. There wasn't much in it from Bebe. And, I mean, the referee must have spotted something that I didn't, because when I initially got the penalty, I just don't know what it was given for. I mean, yes, Bebe goes through the back of him, but there's not that much contact on Ben, so maybe it's a bit of a dive. But I felt kind of harsh, because I thought Ben might have been able to take this spot kick, knowing that he was chasing a golden boot, but it wasn't to be, because they put Benzema on it, and he slotted home to the right to make the score 1-0 to the visitors here. So they're in pole position now to secure the La Liga title. But again, Ben, he's still chasing that golden boot, and he's yet to score in today's episode. And after this game, there'll be 4 remaining, and I don't quite know where he sits in terms of how many he is behind the top scorer at the moment. I think he's good for the top assists. I'm pretty sure he can't be caught in that aspect, but he wants to get the golden boot, you know. Never did I expect to see Ben at the top of the top scorers, you know, kind of list at the start of this season. So for him to be there now and this close to getting it, it would be nice for him to secure it. But other than that, Real Madrid have managed to secure the La Liga title. Benzema's penalty, they want the goal that separates both the sides here, and that is the goal that will secure Real Madrid the La Liga title, guys. So there's 4 games remaining now of this season, and whether or not Ben's going to be picked for the remaining 4, we'll have to wait and see. Real Madrid's job is basically done within the league. Now they've just got the Champions League to try and chase. So for the boys, they can celebrate, but they can't celebrate too hard, because they've still got a massive game to come against Manchester United in the first leg, and of course the second leg of the Champions League semi-final. So celebrations have to be put on hold for a little bit anyway. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's nice to secure it, but until they actually get the trophy within their hands on the final day of the season, it doesn't really feel like they've earned the title just yet. So for Ben, it's another league title to add to his Premier League winners medal that he already got with Spurs. It's a good way to kickstart his Real Madrid, I guess, career off. And of course, you guys have the power to vote at the top right hand side of the screen. That's how the table looks, guys. It is mathematically impossible for Atletico Madrid to catch Real Madrid now. So Ben leaves the episode off 2 goals behind Lacu of Bilbao there on 18. So as I said, he's chasing it. We'll see if he can get it. If you enjoyed today's episode, a like, rate, and greatly appreciate it, guys. As I said earlier, you don't have to vote on the top right, but it would be helpful to me to get your guys' kind of thoughts and stuff. So thank you so much for watching this episode. If you haven't already, click the little bell next to the subscribe button. You always get notified as to when a video goes live. Thank you so much for all of your support on this series and on my channel. Really appreciate it, guys. I will see you all again for another episode of the My Player Career Mode very, very soon. Make sure you don't miss it, guys, because we have the semi-final against Manchester United to come. Looking forward to it. Catch you all then. Adios!